Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allows you to record and edit your broadcast so it sounds great. And they even distribute your broadcast for you so that it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So make sure you download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello everyone, and here are your FET news for this week. Join host Andrew FRETT every Thursday for FRETT's Education Thoughts, where he discusses his own opinions and thoughts about the topics on Future Educators Talk and what's happening around the world. Follow and subscribe to my own podcast, DAMIAN Talks Education, everywhere you stream your podcast at. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. New episodes of Future Educators Talk drops on Thursdays. So follow and subscribe wherever you're listening to your favorite podcast at. Follow Future Educators Talk on social media. You can go to facebook.com/Future Educators Talk and like our page. On Instagram at Future Educators Talk, and on Twitter at Future Ed Talk. So follow our podcast. And follow your host of Future Educators Talk on social media. You can follow me, Damian Anderson, on Instagram at @DamianAnderson, and on Twitter at _Damian Anderson. You can follow Andrew FRETT on Instagram at It's Andrew FRETT, and on Twitter at Darren_FRETT. And you can follow KJ Johnson II on Instagram and Twitter at KJ Johnson II. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Future Educators Talk, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of our video version episodes that we upload. Also, you can now listen to past episodes of our show on YouTube and on all the podcast platforms that we are located on. Now sit back and relax because a new episode of Future Educators Talk is starting now. Welcome everyone to season 4 of Future Educators Talk. We are back, me and Andrew, for the new season of Future Educators Talk. I am your co-host, Damian Anderson.
And I'm Andrew FRETT.
And as you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, you see a new face on here. We have been telling you guys this last season that we have a new co-host joining us, and we are so happy to have him on. So everyone, our listeners and our new listeners, please welcome on to Future Educators Talk, Mr. KJ Johnson II. Welcome, 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 KJ.
Appreciate y'all for allowing me.
Yes, me and Andrew, we are so excited to have another addition on to our family to discuss these topics that needs to be discussed. So right before we hop right into the topic for this episode, why don't you give us a background of who you are telling us about yourself, if you don't mind?
All right, I appreciate you, Damian. I am so grateful and so honored to be a part of Future Educators Talk now. It's been in the works for about a while now, but finally I get to sit and discuss with both my brothers Damian and Andrew about what needs to happen in the world of education and the reform that needs to take place. A little bit about me. I currently attend Lamar University. I'm in the Educators Prep program there. After I graduate, I plan to teach high school science, between the lines of anatomy or biology. So
Mm.
I love science. I've always been a lover of science, trying to, pushing to get certified in that area. Once I get certified, teach those two subjects. Hopefully I can find a school that allow me to do both biology and math. But honestly, my love for education, my love for students, and having everybody getting that equal opportunity type learning, and then finding ways to non-traditionally teach our kids is the big way. Get out of this traditional style of education, and finding ways to innovate and redefine what education is in the future. And so, yeah, that's a bit about me.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow. So we
Yeah.
got two future math teachers and one future science teacher.
Yep.
We've been telling y'all ever since practically the beginning of every season that we have a brand new co-host, and there you go, Mr. KJ Johnson the second, y'all.
Yes. So is there any projects that you are currently working on or in the near future that you would like to share with everyone here?
That's a great question. I'm actually a part of this program. It's called Summer House Institute. It's based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and it's just basically this fellowship for people like you and me, future Black male educators, to coming to this space and find ways to reform the world of education. It's been a 4-week program. We just finished up our 3rd week. We're going into our 4th week tomorrow. First week we discussed, K through 12 traditional and higher education. Second week we discussed, I think it was nonprofits. This past week was more of our philanthropy space. And then this last week, I think I forgot what the focus was. I want to say is business and technology aspects and what all they do to improve education. We're all probably around like 20 to 22, 23 years old, still undergrads, talking about, our goals and how we can do what we do in our specific areas to shift the world of education. And then after that, we're having a capstone project, which we all are featured in an episode of their podcast that they do. And so, I have a whole bunch of notes from. I'm typing them up right now, and I'm creating like a book style, reference guide from it. And so, I mean, if you can count that as a project, that's been my work for the past 3 weeks. And I hate that it ends this week, because I could literally do this sit in front of a computer all day for the rest of my life talking with these guys, man. It's been great so far, and I got to shout them out. So yeah, that's what I've been working on these past few weeks, man.
That's good. That's good right there. So, well, I would like to ask you this. Are you ready to talk education with us, to begin talking?
Man, if I wasn't ready, man, I wouldn't be here. I am absolutely, man, I love doing it, man. I love doing it. I appreciate y'all. I am absolutely ready.
All right, so let's get started with this episode. So we are talking about, and some of you guys probably have already heard of this, that the CDC is recommending schools to wear masks for the upcoming school year. Yeah, when I first came across this, I was like, we need to talk about this here. We need to talk about this here. Since schools are reopening back up now, it's a lot. It really is. So here's what they have to say here. The CDC, they suggest that all schools, every school around the world, for their reopening plans to address adherence to behaviors that prevent the spread of COVID-19. Now, when used consistently and correctly, important strategies must follow. Close face coverings are very important to help slow the spread of COVID-19, which me and Andrew, we have been saying in every single episode, for you guys to wear your mask because it's so very important. And then other important strategies includes social distancing. We have been talking about that, washing your hands, and regular cleaning and disinfecting. So what do you guys think of this here about schools, about the CDC recommends schools to wear masks? What do you guys think of this here?
My main question is, how is this going to work? Like I said in the special edition episode, how my governor announced the 2021 school year, and he wants all schools to be fully open. But there are many school districts right now in North Carolina that are under Plan C, which is fully remote learning until the first 9 weeks. So I think what everybody question is how's this going to work? How is they going to tell students to wear a mask? How is they going to tell them to, wash their hands, every 20 seconds? How they're going to, do all of these things in a school setting? And also, I think many teachers out there right now are kind of scared for not only for their safety, but also for their students' safety as well. Because what if, a student gets corona? How's that going to affect, all these questions run through teachers' minds right now.
And to kind of piggyback what you said, Andrew, when Damian brought up the fact that all schools should wear masks, my mind went immediately to like elementary. Like how are you gonna control kids from the age of if you're in my case, my school had pre-K 3 all the way up to 5th grade. How are you gonna control 3-year-olds all the way up to I think about 10, 11-year-olds to wear a mask all day? I mean, it's easier middle school and high school because they're a little bit older. That you can control them a lot more. But kids, it's kind of hard to really like teach a class, but then policing the fact that hey, make sure you're staying this amount of distance away. Make sure you're wearing your mask. So it'll eventually take away I guess you could say, the focus from learning and effective instruction into classroom management and policing these precautionary measures. And Andrew, like you said, your governor did the same thing a lot of our districts around here in Texas do. Remote learning for the first 6 to 9 weeks, depending on how the cases look or whatever. And then trying to go in person. A lot of those schools, especially here, these tier 1 schools you call them, that don't have the community that have the technology that they need, that don't have the child care that they need. They have to open up because the parents have to work, and if you do remote learning, everybody doesn't have access to that technology. So it literally everything's in a host of uncertainty right now, because it's a lot of factors to consider.
Absolutely. And KJ, when you said that with younger students, like I'm literally worrying about them. I talk about this on my other podcast, Damien Talks Education, where I know that middle and high school students, like, they can handle this, but for the younger students, they're going to have like a hard time with this because they like to move around, touch and stuff like this. This can't be happening now. It just can't. So I just really am worrying about them. So it's a big issue to me. It really is with this. So I'm just very concerned about the younger students. I really am.
Yeah, and just imagine teachers telling the younger students to wear a mask or stop touching your face practically every 5 seconds. So just imagine teachers saying that to the elementary school students. It's like repetitive. You got to have that classroom management, and once you get that classroom management down, then you're all set. So it's really important to have that classroom management, which we already talked about during the first, I think the first season of Future Educators Talk is to have that classroom management, or otherwise the students are running the classroom.
Yeah.
So you need to be running the classroom, not the students.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too in regards to classroom management. And this new way of learning we're going to be enduring this year, it all about, especially with those younger kids, it's going to be, even with the older kids too, it's all going to be about building those routines and establishing them the first day, so kids know what to expect when they walk in the classroom the next day or the next day. Like, they know, not because I'm worried about kids trading masks. Like, hey, one kid has a Spider-Man mask, another kid has a Superman mask. Hey, I like Spider-Man. You want to trade? Yeah, let's trade. Boom. There goes that. And so it's all about having those routines and effective ways where you can handle those types of situations and everything, so those kids can have a sense of stability. So it'll be normal to them, even though teachers are working behind the scenes to make it feel as normal as possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely there. And I just want to mention this right here. Closed face covering should not be placed on children who are younger than 2 years old, anyone who has trouble breathing or is unconscious, and then also anyone who is unable or otherwise, unable to remove the face mask without assistance. So I just wanted to post just to mention that out right there.
And go ahead, Damian. What were you about to say?
Go ahead.
When you said that, and I really am concerned about our babies, and not, you say toddlers, probably about infants, newborns, infants, and everything, because their immune system have yet to be developed. I'm a physiology guy. That's all I work with. Their immune systems aren't fully developed, and so even though it's hard for them to breathe in that mask, what are other ways you can really protect them that same way without them wearing a mask, if there is another way, if you can think of one? Because honestly, I'm blank. I have a few cousins that are younger than 2 that go out in public spaces, and they don't wear masks. COVID is just out lurking. So what are in other ways that we can protect them from those different environments besides them staying at home?
I really can't think of a way, to be honest. I can't really think of a way. So I don't know about Damien. I don't find a way.
No, me either. I can't. Can't think of no way of. Just can't. Right. So I came across this the other day. That CDC provides to us, which of course that we have been saying in every single episode, me and Andrew, to wear your mask, wash your hands for 20 seconds. I cannot stress this enough to wash your hands for 20. It's just for 20 seconds, you guys, for 20 seconds. If you can do other things in your house, do chores, helping out with your kids, whatever, you can at least wash your hands for 20 seconds. Okay. And then also maintain the 6 feet distance. I am not seeing that out where I am in Tennessee right now. People are just so close up to each other. It's like, no, what are you doing? You can't do that. I'm sorry. And so I found this out here, that appropriate and consistent use of close face coverings may be challenging for some students and teachers and staffs, which includes the following. Younger students, we talk about this, such as those in early elementary schools. Then you have students, teachers, and staff with severe asthma or other breathing difficulties. And you also have students, teachers, and staff with special educational or healthcare needs, including intellectual and developmental disabilities. Then you have mental health conditions and since there's concerns for their census. So we have to keep a lookout for this.
And I wanted to add something to that as well about, maintaining 6 feet and wash your hands and, wear a mask. Again, I go to work every day. And, I see this practically every day. Some people at my job, customers at my job, they don't really maintain 6 feet. That there are some that do, which I haul them for them, but there are some that doesn't maintain 6 feet. And there are some that don't wash their hands after they use the restroom. And sometimes I'm thinking to myself, like, there is a pandemic going on. You need to wash your hands, because how you just gonna not wash your hands after using a public restroom? Like, that is disgusting to a T. It really is. And I'm just like, it just blows my mind how people are not washing their hands. Also wearing a mask. Again, at my job, we can't really enforce the rule. We can't be like, we cannot deny the sale. We can't kick them out. Like, we can't do any of those things, because it's up to them. If they want to wear a mask, they can wear a mask. If they don't, that is fine. We can still, ring them up. We can still ring them up, but we just have to remind them, hey, next time, wear a mask. And there are, I think, precautions at my job, like we can't give out refills. We can't, there are some things that customers can't do now because of this. So it's really important to do those 3 guidelines that the CDC provide us, because that's one way to flatten the curve.
Right.
And to kind of add on to what you were saying, I don't know about you all's respective states, but our state and of course our counties mandatory masks in public. So regardless if we're in Walmart or if we're at the mall or we're in a restaurant, you have to wear a mask. There's been the past few weeks since I think this was put into place. It was very late. They should have been done this. But I think they put it into place late June, early July. It's now August, and every public place that I see, regardless if it's like a corner store or whatever it is, it says must have masks to enter, and they have people at the door say if you don't have a mask on, then unfortunately you cannot enter. And which is in my community, is done its part to kind of round out and flatten the numbers where we are in my community, not my whole state, but my community and city, which, that shows some progress from where I am locally. And so, it's good to see that, these businesses are abiding by these rules and these enforcements that the government, our local government is putting in place to stop the spread. And most of the things that they're doing is working to a point to where we see results in the numbers. So, if anybody who's listening, I urge you to wear a mask and practice social distancing. Do your part to stop the spread, because you do your part. There's people watching you and going to do the same thing. And the results are going to show after, everybody starts doing their part. So I urge you, it works. It definitely works. Please do your part.
Right.
Yes, right. Yes. Please do. We just, me and Andrew, again, we've been trying to tell you guys to, in every episode, please wear your mask, wash your hands, and 6 feet distant apart, you guys. Seriously, it is so very important. If you want to keep others safe around you and yourself, you have to follow what these CDC guidelines. You just have to. I follow them, and I encourage all of you guys to do as well, because if you want to help get rid of this, then please do your part. I just urge you guys, just I don't know what else I can say. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Uh, Again, for everyone's safety, for my safety at
Yes.
my job, for KJ's safety, for Damian's safety, please, I'm like begging you right now, please do those three things. It's just so important because we have, I don't know how many deaths right now. Like that's how many. I don't really know how many deaths right now in the United States. Really, that's insane. And it's getting ridiculous because there are people out there that are not doing those three things, and that they should. I even had a customer ask me, "You really letting people in without a mask?" I'm like, again, we can't tell, like we can't kick them out. We can't deny the sale to them. So we have to let them in, even though they're not wearing a mask. So there's nothing really I can do except to remind them, hey, next time you enter the store, make sure you wear a mask. So that's really all I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so I want to ask you guys this here, and this has really, and this is probably, I know this is on everybody else's minds. And then probably when this episode comes out, everyone will be back in school or what. But what do you guys think of schools reopening back up now during this time? Still, we're still in this pandemic, and schools are back in session. So, what do you guys think of schools reopening back up now?
Well, for my state, and I'm pretty sure in some counties that I think there's 3 counties right now, or some counties right now. They're about to open back up in a few weeks, August 17th to be exact. And some of them are in Plan C, which is fully remotely. So, which means they won't be in person classrooms. So I'm just wondering if they do go back to in-person instruction, how's that going to work with the desk and everything? Because they have to maintain 6 feet. Um, I think I was reading one article where students are now, instead of eating in the cafeteria, they're now eating in the classroom. But I'm like thinking in my head, how's that going to work? Because you got to, you know, spread the desk and for 6 feet. So how's that going to work? How would the in-person instruction look like? Uh, because again, you have to maintain 6 feet and you have to sanitize too. Just imagine how many people touch the doors. You got kids, you got students, you got parents, you got teachers, administrators, janitors, everybody basically in a school setting touching those doors. So who's going to be that person to be sanitizing those doors every day?
And my thoughts on schools reopening, it's a lot of things to consider. It really is. When you look at it, like, especially from my perspective, um, from the community that I grew up in, kids, not having adequate access to technology
Mm-hmm.
versus how to fight the coronavirus. So those kind of things really contradict each other. But the way I see it is, in my community, I've seen the bigger school districts, they're remote, those schools that have like 1,200 plus kids, they're remote, obviously. But, the smaller school districts where they only have like 200 kids in a school, they're making plans to kind of go back because those are more the rural area schools with the low income families, with, the people who don't have access to that technology. To me, I think it all just depends on your school and your leadership and everything. Because I feel like there is if especially like when you have a school with not that many kids in it, like you have a smaller school, tier 1, tier 2 schools that don't have that many kids, you can, kind of control, in the classroom, spread the desk, you can control passing periods. You can kind of do that because there's not as many kids. However, those schools where you have those 5A, 6A schools where it's like 1,200 1,600 kids in the school, there's literally no way. There's literally no way you can do it.
Mhm.
Man, really, I, I, I honestly don't know. I'm on the fence about, going back to school and not going back to school because again, you have to take care of those kids who don't have the access that we do versus, how can we fight off the coronavirus as well. So it really all depends on your leadership, your community, and your funding, all that different stuff, man. It's a really a lot to consider. I keep our school leaders in prayer all the time because there's an immense amount of pressure on them.
Mhm.
Yep, exactly. Absolutely. I'm just worrying about the safety of our students because they are the top priority right now during this time. Their well-beings, their mental health. I'm just very concerned about them. And to be honest, I don't think that schools should not reopen right now at this time. I think it's too soon because it's again, we're still in this pandemic. There's a lot going on. And I'm just, like I said, I'm really worried about our students' safety. I really am, which all parents are, all teachers, everyone, they're worrying about their student safety, their teachers, everyone. So that's me right there. I don't think it should reopen back up now at this time. Once I think we have a clear understanding of this COVID-19 mess, then yeah, we could see where we could open back school up. But at this time now, I don't think so. I don't think so.
And I feel you on that. I totally understand on that. Like it's a lot going on right now, and and you're feeling for the students, and no, I mean they're going through a lot of pressure right now. Their parents, the school workers, and I totally feel like what you feel at this time right now. School should really just, in my opinion, schools should hold off just a little bit, start the remote learning process so you can get kids that learning. But at the same time, in-person class, or even do something like have a model where, alphabet A through, J come one day this week, and then the rest of the alphabet come the next day. So you can cut that in half or something to where, you can control how many students you have in the school, and what they learn, because the biggest issue that I saw, especially with high school kids, is high school kids really not taking it seriously, when schools transformed to that remote style learning, because a lot of those kids were on spring break, and their mindset was, oh, we get a longer spring break. This.
Mhm.
Even though Mrs. Jones put this assignment, it's not due till Friday. It's Monday. I still got some time to to
Mhm.
myself. Kids not really taking it seriously. So that's my fear as well. Being being a future high school teacher and knowing how my peers were in high school, I can see how remote learning for especially not only high school kids but middle school kids as well can be harmful to them, because they'll put on the back burner and be like, and then at the end of the day, oh, it's due at 11:59. I got to get this in real quick when they had all day to do it. So it's really a lot to consider. There's literally you're being pulled in all types of different directions with this, man. And I mean, it's just a whole mess right now. A lot of uncertainty and ambiguity.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And I think in school closed back in March. So really it was towards the beginning of spring break. And then when the students were on spring break, they didn't have to worry about nothing, really, until this pandemic came. And that's when, when they return back to spring break, everybody's kind of like freaking out a little bit. That's when teachers starts to, pushing out more assignments. But then again, like you said, KJ, they wait until the last minute, at 11:59, like the assignment is due 12 o'clock midnight, and they rush trying to get it in get turned in until 11:59. So again, something needs to happen.
Yeah, it really does. So it's just a lot to think about. So anything else that you guys would like to add on into this topic right here? Because I discussed what I wanted to talk about.
Really, you hit the nail on the head. This is a very necessary topic and very relevant discussion that a lot of people need to consider when one sending their kids back, two opening schools back, three anything else that revolves around the realm of education. It really is a prevalent issue, and it really does determine one, the safety of your child, safety of your student, whatever. Two, if your student is, competent enough to learn or to be promoted to the next grade or not. Because I mean, you still, not only do you have safety standards, but you also have, mastery standards as well, when it involves instruction. And so it's a lot to consider, and it's a very necessary topic, very necessary. So I mean, I think we hit it right on the head today.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you're fine.
I absolutely agree. I mean, school starting back in August, actually in just a couple of weeks, and I think there are many parents, teachers, and mainly school leaders are trying to figure out how is this going to work for the school year. And like I said, this topic needs to be talked about because again, that's the purpose of this podcast, is to talk about topics that no educator is talking about. So, um, and this is really the main, uh, of course, during this time, this is the main topic that everybody is really talking about here. Um, just like in the preseason special edition episode, where I think Damian talks about how President Trump wants to pressure schools to be open, and then and then um and then in the finale, the lovely education secretary also wants to urge schools open in the fall. Actually, she and Vice President Pence visit my state just a couple of weeks ago. Actually went into a classroom, which I am shocked about. Um, they actually visit that classroom to see how's it working. So it's just really, number one, I'm frustrated because something needs to be happen in order for those students to be safe. And I think all three of us are kind of worried of teachers, school leaders, and students during this time if those schools go back into in person uh, instruction. I think there is an article. I don't know if y'all have seen this on Twitter, but there is a school that is actually open in Indiana, and one student got corona, and so that's just to show you how serious and how crazy this is. Uh, so it's unbelievable.
Yes, it really is unbelievable. And I wish you hadn't brought up that topic that I discussed about Trump, President Trump. He's pressuring governors and states to reopen schools back up as soon as possible. He wants teachers and students back in school as possible. It's a lot. It's really a lot to process all in, and he's supposed to be our leader, and it's just crazy. But I'm not gonna dive on into that topic again. So we're gonna end this here. So Thank you for listening to this episode. Like Andrew said, this is the topic that needs to be discussed now, especially to all you educators out there, because this is the purpose of this podcast. We are talking about topics that you guys do not want to talk about with your friends, your colleagues inside your classroom. So we are doing it. We are the first who are doing it, and we are hoping to encourage a lot of you guys to start having these conversations as well. So thank you for listening to this episode here. Make sure you guys follow Future Educators Talk on all of our social media platforms, on Twitter at Future Ed Talk, on Instagram at Future Educators Talk, and live.
And and like our Facebook page, which actually caught me off guard. Make sure you like our Facebook page at Future Educators Talk, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Future Educators Talk, and tap the bell so that you'll be notified when a brand new episode comes out.
Yes, please do follow Future Educators Talk, you guys. And make sure you follow us on social media as well. Make sure you can follow me on Instagram at DAMIAN Anderson, and on Twitter at _DAMIAN Anderson. So follow me to stay up to date with what's happening in my life.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you, if you want to caught up with me as well, I'm also on Twitter as well at Darren, DAREN _FRETT on Twitter, and on Instagram at It's Andrew FRETT.
And if y'all desire to follow me, I'm on 3 social media outlets. I'm on Instagram at KJ Johnson the second, just the 2 I's at the end, KJ Johnson. Twitter, same thing, KJ Johnson the second, and Facebook, the same thing at KJ Johnson the second. My usernames don't change. So if you can find me on one, you can find me on all of them.
All right. So this was a great episode right here. And then obviously welcome on to Future Educators Talk, KJ. It was just, I believe this is complete for us, Andrew. I believe this is complete for us.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is the complete us. So excited for you to come on to this broadcast. I'm looking forward to hear your opinions and thoughts about the topics that we have planned actually for this season. So we've been telling y'all season, that he will come onto the show, and now here he is. So I'm very excited.
Yes.
I appreciate y'all, man. This has been amazing. I've always searched for a space where I can, sit down and discuss these certain issues within the realm of education. Mm-hmm. And, it's been an honor just to have these conversations with y'all. So I cannot wait to see what the future holds for all of us.
Yes, me too as well. Again, like me and Andrew said in the first episode, the premiere episode, make sure you guys check it out. We are so excited for this season, you guys. It's like we said, it's going to be huge. We got more topics to discuss, you guys. You just stick with us this season, you guys. Stick with us, because you will not forget this season. This season is not going to be like any of our past 3 seasons. So please stick with us for this season. You don't want to miss it.
We also in that premiere, we did 2 big announcements that you really don't want to miss that. So it's very important that you watch the season 4 premiere, because if you don't, then you is missing out.
Absolutely. Well, until next time, I am DAMIAN Anderson here.
And I am Andrew FRETT.
I am KJ Johnson.
And this is Future Educators Talk. Take care, all of you guys. Remember to wash your hands. Please wash your hands. Wear your mask going out in public. And 2, 6 feet distance apart. 3, simple rules to follow. It's not that hard. So please take care of you guys. And we will see you back for a new episode of Future Educators Talk next week. Take care.
What's going on, everybody? It's KJ here, letting you know that if you have any questions or concerns about Future Educators Talk, stories to share, feedback to make our podcast better, reactions to the topics that we discuss, jokes to tell, or you would like someone for the co-host to interview, please let us know by direct messaging us on Instagram at Future Educators Talk, emailing us at futureeducatorstalk@gmail.com, or sending in a voice message to us by going to anchor.fm/futureedtalk. Click on the message tab to where you can record your question to us. Once again, we thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support, and we cannot wait for you to tune in for season 4.
Don't just listen to Future Educators Talk on your smartphone. Continue the conversation online. Like us on Facebook. Be a part of our conversation by telling us what you think of our episodes. Join us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes content. Follow us on Twitter to stay up to date with what's happening on our podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss future episodes. And beyond. It's you who keeps Future Educators Talk going. So like, comment, share, subscribe, review, and connect everywhere with us. You get social. So let's listen together.